All right, what's happening, guys? So today I'm going to be changing out the half shafts on my 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. This should be the same procedure for any Tacoma or 4runner from 2006 to 2014. Now while we're in there, first of all, we're going to replace the half shaft itself. This is a new assembly I got off of Amazon. We have the new inner axle seal. This one in particular is going to be for the passenger side. And then we also are going to be replacing the inner hub seal. Since we have it in there, I just figure it's cheap insurance. This one is a manufacturer part. I got it from the dealership, and this one I got it from Amazon when I ordered the half shaft. Now the tools we're going to be using is going to be an assortment different pliers. We're going to use the seal puller, flathead screwdriver, 3/8 socket, a 19 millimeter socket. That's going to be for the lower spindle bolts. We're going to need an 1 3/8 socket. That's going to be for the main spindle bolt that goes on the hub. We're going to need a torque wrench that does at least 175 foot-pounds for this bolt. This thing's that bolt is a bear to break loose. Now I got a breaker bar to help me out. I have a pry bar so that I can break the half shaft out of the axle itself, and then a dead blow hammer just for miscellaneous stuff. So once we have all that in place, let's get started. All right, guys. So the first thing, we already have our wheel off. We already have everything ready to go. So we got to take off this dust cover. It's a bearing cover. I'm gonna take my flathead screwdriver and my dead blow hammer. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and pull the cotter pin and the nut retainer. Got that out. Now we're going to take the retainer off. All right, now you're going to want to get an assistant to hold the brakes for you. Put this on. This sucker's at 175 foot-pounds. Give everything you got. That's it. This should be a 19 millimeter. These things are on there. Those are 90 foot-pounds. So just remember that when we go ahead and torque them back down. These things are on there good. All right. All right, so next what I'm going to do is we're going to remove the tie rod end. So we'll pull out this cotter pin. That's that. Now we're going to take our 19 millimeter and we're going to break this loose. Shouldn't be on there all that hard or all that tight. It's a castle nut, so you just want to take and loosen up just a little bit. And then what we're going to do is once we get this off, we're going to flip it back over. We're going to use it for leverage. And make sure our threads aren't galled up. Make sure this is going on without cross-threading anything. We want to get it down a little ways so we have something to get onto it. We're going to take our trusty dead blow and smack it. And so now I'm going to take this. This is still the old bolt. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take my dead blow. I'm gonna smack it. That should be good. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Now we're free. All right. Now it's trying to take the half shaft out. This can be kind of a bear sometimes, but you might take a couple different pry bars. I've seen a rope trick work, but I haven't ever had any luck with the rope trick, so this is the only way I know how to do it. Now, if you're trying to save the axles, I wouldn't recommend doing it this way, because you're going to destroy this dust shield right here. Right here. And then make sure you have an oil pan underneath your truck to catch the oil. On to the next step. All right, so now I'm going to remove my half shaft. I don't know if you can see it from this angle or not, but the axle is still leaking oil. It's been several minutes now. I've already cleaned it up, but now we can move on to removing the axle seal. Let's see if I can get this out. Now something I'm going to do, as the oil flows out of it, I'm just going to catch a little bit on my seal. That way I can just take and rub it in, rub it around the seal. That way it's lubricated for when I put it in. Hopefully it's just going to help it slide in just a little bit smoother. Now, there's a lot of residual on there, so I'm going to take a rag here in just a second. I'm going to clean it up, just so that it doesn't make a gigantic mess. Now, I'm going to put the seal back in. Now, something I forgot to put on the parts list. A large round piece of steel that you can dry this seal in with. This actually happens to be out of a ball joint puller kit. So we're going to get that fit. We'll get that in. All right, so that's in. On to the next step. All right, so next we're going to replace the seal on the spindle side. We've got a small screwdriver. You can use a crowbar, pry bar, whatever suits your fancy. But we got to get this sucker out of here. You can do it with either. You can take a hammer, your screwdriver. You can just smash it, and it'll come out. Not bad at all. Now, once again, we're going to take and this one, fortunately, you can only go one way. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. I'm going to put that side, put the top, the most difficult side to hammer in. I'm going to put that in first, and we're just going to tap it. Now, there's a dead blow, so it is kind of easy to get out of control, but you just take your time. You get it in there, nice and straight, and all the way seated. All right, so what I've done now is, first of all, I took my half shaft and I put the old bolt on the outside, and I put the new bolt on the inside. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to make sure of is I want to take a look at this clip, this ring right here. This is what actually holds the axle in place. And before I feed it in there, I want to put this clip on the bottom, because it's going to help aid me in getting this sucker up inside of here and beating it into place. Now, being cognizant, once again, I gotta watch where my shaft is going in the seal, and I want to see where my clip is going in. I want to make sure that I don't run this along as little as possible anyway. Run it along the inside of the shaft. Make sure that all the splines are lined up correctly. That's it. I'm going to remove these. And that's it. Now we need to make sure our splines are lined up. And we're on. I can take and put this new bolt on, just keep it there. Make sure it doesn't come off. All right, now we're hand tight. Next step. Okay, so at this point, everything's back together. We need to make sure that we get these bolts back in, these two right here, all right, here and here. Now, this, the lower spindle joint, will not come in contact with the actual with the lower control arm or the spindle, because we need to get the shock and spring is forcing downward pressure. So what we got to do now is go grab our jack, put some pressure. Now you're not trying to get anything crazy out of that jack. Let's move it. You're not trying to get anything crazy. You just want to get these bolts back in. They gotta be back in straight. Alright, so now we're putting the tie rod back on. We picked it up, pushed up in there. I'm going to thread the castle nut on. Get a little bit hung up. So I'll tighten it down a little bit. Alright, so now you can see the hole is lined up. We should be able to push the cotter pin straight back through there. Should be. Straighten back out. Alright, now we're all the way through. Take my pliers. There's that. I'll take my flathead screwdriver on the back side and I'll smash it down. There we go. There's that. You know, as far as this is concerned, all I have left to do is tighten this to torque down the main hub. And we'll get my assistant right quick. I'll be right back. Go ahead. All right, once again, they're pushing on the brakes. Get your assistant to do that while you get this tightened down and torqued to 175 foot-pounds. There we go. All right, now put the retainer on. Drop the cotter pin in. Alright, now we got the tie rod ends bolted down, cotter pinned, cotter keys are in. Now we got to torque down our spindle. 81 foot-pounds. Now it's axle bolt. Put the cap back on. That's it. All you gotta do is put your wheels on. Okay, so now I have the tire in place. What I do to make it a little bit easier, I got my stool. Now I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna put both my feet underneath it. I'm just gonna use my toes to pick it up just a little bit. And I can slide it back into place. That's it. Now, I can put on some lug nuts. Now I could use an impact to drive these in, but I'm not entirely sure that I'm not going to break a stud. I don't want to break a stud. You know, you see the guys at Discount Tire do it, or you know, whatever tire shop you go to, they do it all the time. But they have their guns set to certain settings where they can get away with it, I guess. However, I do have to replace one of my studs on the other side, and I can assure you, I did not do it. Now all we're doing is going in a star pattern. We're snugging it up, ensuring that it's even as it gets snug. We just want to make sure that it's sitting up, that the wheel is sitting on the lug centric. Is that it? That's all on the sides of the lock. Okay. All right. So we're not, you know, once again, we're not getting any crazy torque here. We just want to make sure it's snug. That's it. Nice and snug. Okay. Move on to the next side. All right, so a step I almost forgot to put in here is we got to top off our fluid. We had a bunch of fluid come running out. So what I did is this hose right here is ran to the outside of where the tire is. This right here is a 6mm Allen wrench. You just unscrew this and make sure you have a drain pan in place. And you just put this hose inside of there, and as soon as it starts draining out of this, then it's full, and then you take your drain plug and you put it back in, and you're done. So here I go. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it. And that's it. Now we'll pull this out. And we'll put the plug back in. And we're done. Thanks for watching.